Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Nasir Mirza, here it is my honor to be standing next to the man himself who needs absolutely no introduction whatsoever. Mohsen bhai, thank you so much for the time and thank you so much for doing this right before the match. I know it's a busy day, so I think the first most important question is how are you feeling right now?
Alhamdulillah, I feel very good. Thank you for having me on your podcast. And I think, look, if you see the last couple of matches, we've done really well.
Yeah.
Inshallah, we have high hopes for today. We know that teams ranked higher than us, but all that matters is how it goes on the field. And if you look at our last performances, it gives us nothing but a positive feeling.
And like you said, teams always ranked higher than us. It's always an uphill battle. I would say you have one of the toughest jobs in the country right now. How do you cope with all of this? Because I mean, it must be being pulled from all sides, right? Fans and
Well, you kind of have to have that personality.
Yeah.
You have to have a bit of a thick skin, and you have to have that persistence to keep going because Pakistan football has had its challenging days. We're still up against a few challenges in the sense that we really need to improve our ranking. We need to improve our infrastructure. We want to focus on grassroots, and definitely, most importantly, we need to have a proper league in this country.
100%. I actually get to the league in just one question, but before that, I mean, when you're talking to the coaches, the staff, the players, what kind of talk do you give them? What kind of expectations do you hold from them? What kind of expectations do you hold today, for example, from the team when you're approaching these kind of games, which we know are uphill battles? So it's interesting, right? How do you hold those kind of expectations?
I would say that in the past, we've set our standards very low. We need to set our standards higher, but setting our standards higher is one thing. We need to work very hard to match them. All right. And if you see what's happening in Pakistan football in the last 5 months, you will definitely see, Daniel, what's been going on. We've started futsal. We are going to start the women's futsal team. We've had a coach of a very high profile, the likes of whom we have never seen. You can see the team is playing very aggressively.
Yeah.
They're very confident on the ball.
Yeah.
We're all football fans, and this is what we live for.
100%.
The show, right? And you can see the show, it's getting better. That's what matters. But at the same time, we need to improve football at the grassroots level. So my motivation is always, I need to see that green flag flying higher and higher and higher every single day.
100%. Now let's talk about the league, right? Because that is the pressing concern or the pressing matter, just to steal a pun, that everyone has on their mind, right? Everyone wants to talk about the league. So we know there's been a letter of intent that's been kind of floated and there are interested parties, but it does not have details with regards to the main question everyone likes to ask. Is it a franchise league? Is it a regular league? What would you like to say regarding?
No, I do get that question very often, and I will give you the same response that I've been giving to everybody else. In fact, that's the same response I gave before I got elected. Look, we need to see what is the interest of the market. We need to then also have a little working group within ourselves. We need to get the governing bodies like AFC and FIFA on board to see what works best for Pakistan. And we're still in that process. Like, I'm not a person who says, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that.
Yeah.
It's going to be this or that.
Yeah.
It might be a hybrid, it might be one of the either, but that's something which needs to be a very thought out decision as opposed to somebody's random liking.
Yeah.
So I think the league is something we've asked for LOI. So we'll see what kind of response we get from the market. We will analyze it, and then we'll collectively make a decision, whatever we feel is best for the country. But one thing is for sure, we need the league. We need a league where people can come and watch. The fans can come and watch. Players have somewhere to go and play. It can have some revenue for us. And most importantly, we need the right partner for the league. That's the most important.
100%. How high up is it on your priority list to get this league started?
Right on the top.
Very top?
Right on the top.
And if I had to ask you, market aside, interest aside, I know this is a very hypothetical question, theoretical question. It's not based in practicality, but what would be your ideal league? What does it look like?
My ideal league is one that engages the fan. It brings us the revenue, and it definitely contributes to football development because these are three very, very imperative pillars of football.
Yeah.
So I don't want to focus only on the commercial side or only on the media side, only just running a show. It needs to have some footballing value as well.
100%.
But look, the league is the need of the hour. It's been missing for a long time. And once I got elected, it was right at the top of my priority. But it takes some time,
Right.
because we don't want to rush into it. We want to make the right decision with all the information that we can get. We get all the feelers from the market.
Yeah.
And I think that whatever is going to happen, it's going to be for good of football in Pakistan. And everybody's excited. but so am I.
Yeah, 100%. Now, you've talked a lot about engaging fans on a youth level, trying to get fans, young fans invested as well, especially in this sport, because naturally this is the most popular sport in the world, but you tend to lose fans when there's no activity over time, right? So we're kind of in that position where we're rebuilding. So how do you approach, engaging fans, especially young fans, like you've said?
I
What's your approach towards
I
that?
think that fans is a group of people who are very vital to us. We've ignored them in the past, in my opinion. We've never even considered them, but they're a very important part of our family. I do engage with them. There's a bunch of people who run the Ultra Shaheens. I'm in contact with them. We try to facilitate them as much as possible. But especially when it comes to the league, we would like to engage them much more meaningfully.
Yeah.
We'd like them to be a part of this process.
100%.
Going forward, in the future, it might seem like a little fantasy for everybody, but it is not for me. I would like to get to a point in the near future where the fans also have, their opinion counted.
Yeah.
The way it works in Europe and in England, places where football really has the highest profile.
Yes.
So we don't need to copy things, but we can learn from the best.
100%.
And we need to bring that culture of inclusivity, and fans are a vital part of it.
100%. And with regards to funding, this has been a major issue in the past with different, stakeholders who've been essentially running the PFF. Is there an issue with regards to the funding? Well, especially with it being frozen, that's been a big issue.
We have been on restricted funding from FIFA because of some arbitrary reasons. We are working on settling that. But most importantly, look, I've always said that I want to run football like a business.
Yeah.
And for it to be like a business, it needs to be self-sufficient. We cannot just be relying on handouts from FIFA and AFC and the likes of them. We need to work on having our own revenue streams, a model where we can be self-sufficient, where we can bring in the revenue for football in Pakistan, so that we can do a lot more things that we are currently doing. Because FIFA funding, however it is important for us, it's still restricted.
Yeah.
Because we get funding for certain activities, but we want to do a lot more. So we are really, that's why the league is a high priority. It all comes down to league, because look at the national team, it's progressing, alhamdulillah. We have good players, we have a good coach, in my opinion.
Yes.
We have a good setup. Now we need to mirror that at the domestic level. None of this is going to really matter in a long term unless we provide a platform at the highest level for players to play domestically.
Yes.
This is important. So you will see me working very hard to get that league done as soon as I can.
Man, appreciate that a lot, and appreciate you for this time, of course. Now, you are on the mic, of course, on Pressing Matters, technically, although that's Ismail's show. I run an MMA show, but I do commentary. Thank you so much for having me, by the way.
Yeah, for
commentary as well. But I just wanted to ask you one last thing. To all the people who watch our podcast, they'll be watching this maybe after the match. So regardless of result, what message would you have to them with regards to the future as we move forward with Pakistani football? This is your time. Anything you want to say?
Look,
sir?
we've had our difficult times. We are full of hope. Please share our hope. And inshallah, we will take Pakistan football to the next level together. Inshallah.
We're dreamers and we'll keep dreaming.
And we will make those dreams happen.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Dana Nasir Mirza, Mohsen Bhai. We're out. See you next time.
Thank you.